Yo, 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 what's good, family? High Value Basketball, we are back once again. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. You know the drill. Yo, we talking about a quick summary, doing a funny review of Robert Horry. Robert Horry, he was visiting a Richard Jefferson show, Roadtrippin, and he had some interesting comments of basically when he was talking about who his favorite player was, and he had Spurs fans and a bunch of Twitter fans all up in arms when he said um, that he said that he believed that Hakeem Olajuwon was 10 times better than Robert Horry. And so of course everybody was mad because they're saying you don't win championships with Tim Duncan and all of this other jazz, and of course Tim Duncan has won more championships and he didn't beat better teams, and all of this yada yada yada. All the geeks come out and start doing all of they talk about how basically Tim Duncan has accomplished more. And so, of course, due to all these accomplishments, of course, winning multiple championships with three more championships, of course, they all put just a summation that he was the better player. And so, Robert Horry, his opinion though, which is still valid in a sense, because I have Hakeem Olajuwon like either like kind of 10 or 11, in that range, actually in my top 10. Duncan's in my top 10 as well, so it is what it is. They both up there. They both goats in my opinion, but uh, Robert Horry, his position came from actually playing with Hakeem. Because, folks may not remember that, Robert Horry was actually a teammate of Hakeem Olajuwon. In his early career, he played with the Rockets, before his Spurs days, before his Lakers days. Yeah, he was on that championship squad with Hakeem. So like and with that, he basically said, Hakeem brought him up in the league. Hakeem taught him, in and outs of the game. He taught him the business of the game. He big brothered him. He defended him. All of that type of stuff. So he had a much bigger and longer relationship with Hakeem Olajuwon than he had, with Tim Duncan. Because he also said that by the time he got to the Spurs, Tim Duncan was a younger dude. So of course, he was still a star player, but he was in his early 20s, and he's like, yo, I'm a grown man. Like, there's nothing Tim Duncan can like tell me, so to speak. I'm here to kind of tell him about the league. Of course, he's the star, but he can't teach me nothing I don't already know. It's the other way around. So there's a whole different dynamic. Especially when you play against these players. You know, so I can understand. Presumably why sometimes these dudes have different opinions on who their best players are. Who they think you know, that who's in their top fives, shall I say? And so, yeah, his opinion, in his mind, is valid, and of course, like I say, it's not it is a debatable point because if you're a young fan, and you may be listening to this, you don't know, man, like you know. Of course, you may have seen highlight tapes of Hakeem, but again, man, you gotta just like you watch these dudes in real time and you seeing just like how they manipulate the game and just like how they go off. Like, dude, like Hakeem could go off. Like, he could go off. Like, he was the king of footwork. Like, when we talk about, like, not even to say orthodox basketball, but just like being, like, using skill, do we want to talk about that, to the James Harden crews, the hezzy pull up crews. His skill was immaculate. His footwork was crazy. Like, y'all, if y'all remember, Kobe went to him to perfect his footwork. And after he did that, he literally got better, way better. Like, a lot of those fast breaks, super hyper dunks that he did, like around the back 360 shits that he did, he was capable of doing that using that crazy footwork that he learned from Hakeem, yo. Hakeem was doing mad boogaloo crazy stuff on the court, with the footwork, and he was doing it with a much stricter ball movement era. Like, there wasn't this, zero dribble. I get a third and a half step. What we got going now? Nah, he was doing that with 1-2 step crazy manipulations with the hand fakes and the head fakes and all kind of stuff, man. 360s on you. It's ridiculous. He had a counter for the counter for the counter. Like, man, it was amazing. So yeah, in that dynamic, in that regard, I can understand why, what I'm saying, he would say that he's better because he played with the guy, so it is what it is. But was also interesting in the show was the rest of the crew, the rest of the road tripping crew, Richard Jefferson, of course, the host, and then his co-host Channing Frye, and Robert Ory. They all gave their top fives, yo, and they had some interesting top fives, yo, for real, for real. Robert Ory, yo, he had Jordan, Hakeem, Kobe, Shaq, and Bernard King. Yeah, that Bernard King one was wild. The first four, that's a legit top five, to put together. A top four, excuse me, to put together. But that Bernard King one though, that's an unheralded gem, like real talk. Like, and he said it too. He's like, man, he was just saying how Bernard King was really special. You know what I'm saying? Like, he said Bernard King had that. He said Bernard King had the situation where he had dislocated or some type of broken or fractured fingers on both hands one season and still ball out giving 40 pointers. Like, that sounds like some Kobe stuff. If you remember, he just had the one finger. He played that whole season with that one, or half a season with that one finger, torn up real bad. And he literally said he had to alter his whole game, and he still won a championship with that finger. So imagine dude got broken fingers on both hands, and he's still, you know, dropping 40 burgers on folks. Like, think about that. That's some real stuff. So now, for real, Bernard King definitely was one of those guys. He was ridiculous. He just doesn't get a lot of recognition because, of course, he don't got the chips. So I think he got one. I think he got that one, but it wasn't enough, like, really to strengthen him like that. So that's why he didn't get that much recognition. But yeah, Bernard King was that guy. Richard Jefferson, he went in and he got an interesting one because Jordan's not present. Dun, 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 oh shit. Nah, of course, that's his man opinion, of course. But he had Kareem, Magic, LeBron, Duncan, and then he said just his personal preference. He's like, and he validated, he gave his case. He said he didn't think Jason Kidd is an actual top five player, but he said just due to playing with him, see that same kind of dynamic. You see what I'm saying? Having players and teammates and they have an impression on you, and you see the intricacies of their game and stuff like that. Like, that can have you, putting a person in a position that you covet personally. And that's what he did. He put Jason Kidd in his top five. So Kareem, Magic, LeBron, Duncan, and Jason Kidd as his top five because he just felt like Jason Kidd on that squad would be like the ultimate point guard. Oh, and he's like, he said, even with Magic on the team, he's just like, Magic is just like LeBron. They could just flip around and play all different kind of positions. So just Jason Kidd running the break just sets everything up just ridiculous, like he said. So Channing Frye, he had a kind of atypical, nothing kind of too freaky. On his top five, he had LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, Dirk, and Shaq. So, he definitely had a modern era team. Um, yeah, strict modern era team. Um, I mean, what you gonna say, yo? He had Jordan, he got Kobe, got the two clones, so to speak. The OG, the Gookin, yeah, the Gookin and the Ryu, to the Street Fighter reference. Some of y'all will get that. The Gookin and the Ryu are I like to call I personally, this is what I like to call y'all. Cause it's hard to rank Kobe. I feel like because Kobe is again like a 1B approximation of Jordan, so it's kind of weird because it's one thing that he's capable of doing all of that, but it's another thing like that he literally copied the mold. And so it's like this weird, nebulous. That's why I feel like subconsciously to people he doesn't get as much credit because he didn't have his own game at all. Like his game literally was a copycat of Jordan. And I say that's not a bad thing because I mean literally you're modeling the GOAT and you're modeling like the most slickest way to use human movement with the basketball in the context of the game. But yeah, it's still those weren't his moves. You know what I'm saying? So back to a video game reference. I actually call him the noob Cybot of NBA kind of rankings. Mortal Kombat reference. Again, some of y'all will get that. Like if if Jordan is the Sub Zero, the best character. Again, of course, that's an opinion. See, that's how all the shit works. There's an opinion because some people say a Scorpion. That's LeBron, but whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Jordan is Sub Zero, and Kobe is the daggone Kobe is the daggone noob Cybot, the fucking the other version essentially. And so he doesn't get ranked properly because like he's this nebulous secret character that is like an unlockable. And so he just kind of jump in and then like And in a spooky, similar kind of way, R.I.P. Of course, I ain't saying this in no bad way at all. It's like he didn't pass, so it's like that crazily really does fit. You know what I'm saying? The whole news Sabat thing. And I used to say that before he passed too. So yikes. And so yeah, high value basketball, man. Interesting fucking top fives that they got. Funny show. Like I said, Robert Ory going in on Tim Duncan. Uh, fun times, yo. Fun times. Like, share, subscribe. Holla.